What's up, guys? Coach Matt Torres here, head one-on-one coach for Brute Strength.
Coach Dom, also working with one-on-one at Brute Strength on this fine Halloween.
And tonight, we're going to be covering for Coach Nick and Coach Adrian. With today's workout, I'm really excited about this. We finally get to see the single leg squat, the one movement that I see every year in the judges course, but we never get it, right? We finally get to see what's happening. And also, we finally get a heavy barbell, right? So we always get happy when we see a heavy barbell, but in Castro fashion, we see it with some obstacles in the way down.
Yeah, 20.4 here, classic Dave Castro fashion. If you want to play with the big boys, you got to get through the scales first and the lighter bars. Your heart rate's going to get up, and you're going to get breathing before you even get a chance to move that heavier weight. So there's some things that you're going to have to be thinking about and to be strategizing for in order to allow you to get to the fun part of pulling that heavy barbell.
Yeah, man, and just going over 20.4, as you all know, includes box jumps, clean and jerks, single leg and clean and jerks, right? It's a 20-minute cap. As we're going through all this and considering things to put top of mind for each and every one of us, the first thing I would say to you guys is take a screenshot of this, because you will look back at this. If nothing else, if you take nothing else, take a screenshot of this, because we're going to cover everything on this board, starting with equipment list.
Yeah, so definitely some things we're going to need for this workout today. Thumb tape, right? So we're not bleeding in our thumbs by the time we get to the final barbell. Weight belt, weightlifting shoes. Some things might play in here. For those of us that have poor ankle mobility in the single leg squat and alternating pistol, and even in the heavier clean and jerk, that can come into play. We'll talk a bit later about maybe putting the shoes on as you go through the workout. Good clips on your barbell is going to be real important, especially on the lighter bars. If we're starting off with singles on this workout, we don't want the plates flying off and having to waste time doing that. If you're someone who needs knee sleeves when you're moving heavier barbells and single leg squats, get them on your legs in the beginning. You can pull them up later if you don't like wearing them on the box jumps. And then keep a shirt on. If you're anything like myself, you're sweating all over the place during a workout like crazy. And if you don't have a shirt on, you're gonna miss a clean at a heavy weight. Or if you're going dipping in the jerk when you're tired, it's sliding down your chest for no reason. That's silly. And then this might be the most important piece of equipment of all for this workout. This plate changer. Make sure you have a good friend that is paying attention and is switching your weights for you, because you're wasting your time if that's not done correctly.
Yeah. And that means two people, the judge and your plate changer. You don't want your judge being your plate changer, right? Because you're going to want to get a move on. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Dom hit the needle on the nail on the head. Thanks, dude. Shirt on, right? What was the other workout that it was part A and then part B was a clean and jerk, max clean and jerk, right? It was probably the last time we did
2015 maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. And everyone struggled when it was time to go heavy because they took their shirt off, right? So keep that shirt on. Let's talk about the setup.
Yeah, so looking at our setup here, this Picasso-like drawing, we got our box, our stick figure CrossFitter, and our barbell. You want to be in between your barbell and your box at all times, and I would just make it a quick turnaround. You face your box, you do your box jumps, you turn around and you start moving on your barbell. And this also sets you up to get going right into pistols. You'll be facing cameras here, you can do your pistols and move right into the barbell as you move into the second section of this workout.
Yeah. And you know what I was thinking is, when it comes to your judge, make sure that your judge understands the standards of the pistol, right? And what I mean by that is, if you miss a pistol with your right leg and you go back and you go to your left leg, that left leg does not count. You have to complete it back on the right leg before going back to your left leg. Please have a judge that knows what they are doing. I tell my athletes this all the time is, you're trying to get the most out of yourself. It is super, super vital that your judge is not going to hinder you, but will help you, all right? And with that being said, get with your judge with the reps of box jumps that you're on and the reps of pistols that you're on. You don't want to be looking at them and saying like, hey bud, like how many more do I got left, right? Get on the same plane with your judge on that, in that regard right there.
Yeah, touching on that as well, anytime a new movement comes up, always double check the standards before you go into the workout. Make sure you know exactly what CrossFit is looking for in their single leg squat. We've seen numerous penalties being sent out this year after video reviews, and there's no reason on a new movement to, if you crush this workout, to sell yourself short because they're gonna no rep you for, heel brushing a floor, or like Matt said, moving to the next leg and continuing on before hitting a good rep on a no rep.
So before we move on to some of the limiters and the specifics of this workout, the warm-up. So with the warm-up, keep hip hinging limited, right? So what that means is don't do a million box jumps, don't do a million pistols, right? Keep it low. And you guys will see in the warm-up, it starts with a nice aerobic piece to get your body warm, get some sweat, get the joints nice and warm as well. From there, pick and choose what you're mobilizing here, right? So like Dom mentioned, if you have really tight ankles, attack the ankles. If you have tight shoulders, make sure you're mobilizing the shoulders, the thoracic, right? Get your arms ready to move some heavy load overhead. And same thing with the hips, guys, right? That's a no-brainer. There's a bunch of hip hinging here. As you guys are moving along, it's super important to not get caught up when you're warming up, trying to hit some big numbers. You guys will be plenty warm once you approach this 225, 145 pound bar to hit these guys, right? So, stop at around 80 to 85% of your max clean and jerk.
Definitely.
Cool. Let's talk about the limiters, right? And then get into more of the strategy behind all this stuff. The limiters here, right? Heavy barbell with high heart rate. So it's no different than what we've seen in the past. Every time we get a heavy barbell, it's a matter of, can you lift this bar when your heart rate's skyrocketed? Can you lift this bar with local muscle endurance, right? So high hip fatigue. With that being said, the next thing is the complexity of the skill, right? Can you hit your pistols under a high heart rate? These things will come into play when we get specifically into the strategies here.
One other thing to remember too is we have not had an open workout yet where we are doing heavy shoulder to overhead under fatigue and for multiple reps. Like Matt said, we had the clean and jerk at the end of a workout. That was a 1 rep max. So don't compare this to like last year's workout. We were only doing a squat clean. It's going to be very different at these heavier bars when we also have to get the bar from shoulder to overhead. So know what your split jerk is and what your clean and jerk is, not just your shoulder to overhead, and know how that usually looks in a workout when your hips are tired, when you're breathing hard, and when your back is tired, because that is going to affect how you're jerking. So have that in mind and know that when you're warming up.
Love it. So, that's perfect segue for specific strategies. As we're considering this, one thing that Dom and I kind of discussed beforehand is the limiters are somewhat the same whether you're an elite level games athlete or you just want to do really, really well in the open. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that, starting with singles, right? So first bar right here, as we're talking about this, the clean and jerk, it doesn't really make sense to us to try to hit unbroken reps here, right? Save that eccentric loading and drop it from the top and go with singles. This is going to play a bigger part when we get to this bar right here. And what you notice as we watched some of the athletes go after it is watch their face and when does the pain start to kick in, right? And what we were seeing is that right around that 185 pound bar before they started their single leg squat, there was a noticeable change in pace. So I ask you this, is it worth going 6, 5, 4 unbroken, or just go fast singles all the way through, right? Same thing with the box jumps. When we're doing our jump on top of the box, drop off the box, right? When you're dropping off the box, we're gonna save some hip hinging, right? If you know that you struggle with picking up a heavy load after high hip hinging, then dropping off the box is gonna be better than the step off.
Yeah, and I would say with that specific strategy as well, like If you know you're going to be moving to a squat clean at some point because you can lift heavier in a squat clean, stepping up and stepping down is going to fatigue your legs. So it's going to limit a little bit what you can squat clean as you get to your heavier bar. When we have the land high drop down here on the box jump, that's allowing us to save some of that hip fatigue for the heavier bars. But if you're someone that gets breathing really hard when you're doing box jumps, then a step up might be smart for you to go to.
Yeah. This next part is probably one of the most important keys to doing really well in this workout. Know your final bar, right? So as Dom mentioned, know that your clean is different than your jerk. Know that your clean and jerk is different than both of those, right? If your last clean and jerk was 275 pounds, when you are done with this bar right here, you must move fast through these single leg squats because this is your tie break time. Same thing, we're gonna see a lot of elite level athletes right around this bar. I actually think more females can hit this bar. We'll see more females finishing. So this is actually gonna be super important as well. But I think we're gonna see a lot more males getting stuck on this last bar. So for everyone, and I'm just using the 315 to a 5-pound bar for example, whichever bar will be your final bar, move fast, and you'll have plenty of time to recover to hit your 1, 2, or 3 reps on whichever bar that you're at.
Yeah. When he's saying that too, he doesn't mean move super fast through that final one and then rest before your clean and jerks. Be steady, and then when you get to this final area right here before your final bar, then start to put the pedal to the metal.
Super important. And the next thing, this is, no misses. Right? When we're moving through even these ladder bars, when I say no misses, you want your reps to look clear and concise when you're locking that bar out overhead. If you miss a bar at 185, that's not gonna be too fun. An extra weight, having to pull that as you're approaching your heavier bars here. And then the obvious one here is, no misses here. Control your emotions, especially if you're doing this in front of a big group of people. Know yourself, right? This is a fine line between you being an athlete and knowing when it's time for you to step back up to that bar, that when you put your hands on that bar and you're ready to go, it's gonna be a make every single time, as opposed to hearing your buddy out there saying, get to the bar, and you're like, I don't know, but I'm gonna do it anyway, right? To please everyone around you.
And I think the open, and we all know this, the open is a great test of who can control their adrenaline. When the clock is on and we're thinking about our other competitors, especially at the top level, in a workout like this, where we know if we make a lift and we're taking a chance on a lift and we might get a little further on the leaderboard, sometimes we go too early. Being smart and knowing yourself is the key to a workout like this in the open. And when the pressure's on, can you know who you are as an athlete and make the right choice under a high heart rate? And that's what the open in this workout is all about. Also with this no misses, think about no reps. If you start split jerking a little bit early because your shoulders get fatigued and you don't bring your feet all the way back together before your judge tells you to drop the bar, you just did a full extra rep. You actually didn't miss one. You did a full rep and got a no rep. That will kill you later in the heavier bars because you're adding reps to a workout that you don't need to be.
Yeah. One thing that we forgot to write on here is repeatability. Right, so if you guys are doing this workout tomorrow, Monday's gonna be a great time to repeat. Have a game plan to look through your video and break down when your pain face was, right? As you're looking through, is there a better adjustment that you can have for the first half of the workout that may help you for the second half of the workout? And here's the thing is, if you guys get stuck at this bar right here at rep 8, right? Something up here needs to change so you can press to get those last 2 reps and fly through this right here, right? So when it comes to repeating, having the ability to break down your video and knowing how to properly pace and strategize through is gonna be super vital.
Awesome.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's 20.4 breakdown. It was a pleasure being able to chat with you guys. And, good luck to everybody, for our athletes out there. We hope and wish nothing but the best. Be excited about this, guys. We have 2 more weeks left, 20.4. Get yourself hyped for this workout right here. Focus on this workout. When you do the workout, take the first workout that you do with full intentions that you will not be repeating. It's your only chance to do your absolute best. And don't come in with any other mindset than that in itself.
Definitely. And make sure you save your Halloween candy for after you do the open workout, because you don't want anything holding you back on these pistols and box jumps.
Yeah, man, that post-carb glycogen stores.
Yeah,
all right,
Snickers
guys.
After you've hit the last clean and jerk.
Yeah, Snickers for winners, right? All right, guys, have a good one.